Niyant, Neme Nu, Yi Ishwan. And in our Catawba language, I said, hello, I'm Little Bear, people of the river. Today, of course, we're known as the Catawba Indian Nation. I'm also known as Keith Brown, but it's okay just to call me by my native name or Indian name. You might say it's Little Bear. And I am from the Catawba Indian Reservation, which is located near Rock Hill, just down the river here a little ways. We have a reservation there, and we have our own tribal government there, chief, assistant chief, and his council there, that where we still operate. And the Catawba people, we were the largest number, or largest tribe of native people living in the Piedmont region when the Europeans came and started to settle in this area. And of course, we didn't have, like maps or lines, and a lot of stuff, or, natural stuff for our lines. We roamed everywhere from parts of South Carolina through North Carolina, even up into Virginia. That was part of the Catawba Nation. So we're a very large group. Today, we're still the largest tribe in South Carolina, and the only federally recognized group in South Carolina in this region. What I'd like to do, is share a little bit of the history about our people and some stories. We call ourselves people of the river because we lived along that Catawba River, and it was such an important part of our lifestyle. We got so many things from that river. We got food, the fish, and we got water and everything from the rivers and the creeks and the springs that fed that river. In the forest that grew along that river, we went out into the forest and hunted, the deer, rabbit, those sort of things, turkeys. That's the type of lifestyle we lived until the Europeans came, and our life began to change. Of course, you can see how the houses evolved from living in bark huts like this, and to more of a mud, and even into later adopting the same sort of house that the Europeans, the settlers came to, log cabins, those sort of things. The Catawbas were known as a patriotic people. We helped fight a lot of the other folks that would maybe come and attack the settlements. We were fought during the Revolutionary War, and so our numbers have dwindled. By the end of when the Europeans first came to settle in this area, we were probably about 10,000 people. By the time the Revolutionary War rolled around in the late 1700s, we were probably less than 400 people. So our numbers really dropped dramatically. What I'd like to do is maybe share a story with you, and this is the story of Yehunktsuri. Yehunktsuri in our language means the little wild people, and these were little guys. They said were about this tall, and they lived out in the forest, deep in the forest, in the creek banks, in the hollow trees, and they ate such things as tadpoles, turtles. They ate those sort of things that they ate, and they lived there. And they were kind of mischievous and tricksters. They would often play tricks on people, and they're always told our children. The children were told, little boys were told, don't get too far away from the house, too far away from the lodge. You wander off too far, the little wild Indians, they're gonna come, they're gonna get you, and they're gonna lead you way into the forest, so deep and far away that you'll never be found again. So make sure that you watch out for one another and stay around, close by. The little girls, they told them the same thing, stay close by, watch out for one another, because those little wild Indians, they'll come out of the forest if you're not careful, and they will tie you up into the bushes by your hair. So stay close by, don't wander off. And the children were told and were taught, and it was a practice that we brought possessions in at night. They didn't leave their little, if they had a corn husk doll or something like that, bow and arrow or slingshots and none of them things. They didn't leave those things outside. They would bring it inside at night because they didn't want the little people to get their hands on their items, because if they did, the children would not be able to sleep, and they would cry in the night. So they've always brought those things in. Didn't leave any clothes or anything, any items outside for the little people to handle. They brought everything in. And at night, as they went into the lodge, they would take a brush and they would brush out all the footprints so the little people couldn't get any footprints. And they would brush those away. They brushed everything away. And that was to keep away. And there's a south of here, near the city of Rock Hill, down that trading path known as Interstate 77, there's you can find the signs leading you to our reservation. Out there's a cultural center, our Catawba Cultural Center. This lady up here at that table, she's director of our cultural center, there we have a trail called the Yay Honksary Trail, where you can walk from the building down to the river. It goes through the forest, down by the creeks, and about half a mile down to the river. So if you get a chance, you might want to visit there. Follow that trail south and follow the signs. Go to and learn more about our culture and about the little wild people. Now those little wild people, if you get down there and you hear something, I grew up there, and you hear them little wildlings late at night. This is just about dusk, just about dark. You'd hear them down in the hollows where they live in that hollow. And I remember growing up there and coming home from the neighbor's house, walking home, and I thought I heard those things hollering down in the forest. But you know what? I just kept on walking as fast as I could go without running. And went on home. So that's the story of the Yay Honksary, the little wild people. And many cultures, not only our native Catawba people, Cherokees and all the other different tribes and peoples throughout the world have stories often about the little people. So they're very real. They've got to be very real. And that story, one thing it did, a lot of the stories that we tell, to teach people and help people learn and do things. You didn't want your children wandering away from home, so you tried to tell them to stay close by. And you want them to learn to pick their stuff up and not leave things laying all around, so you tell them, to bring stuff in like that, to take care of your stuff. That's the story of the Yay Honksary, the legend of the little wild people. Another story I'd like to share with you is about the Kayant Iskant Patke. Now, Kayant Iskant Patke in our language means the turtle with the big head. Long ago, they said there was this huge turtle. Now, this turtle was guardian of the water. He sat over this spring of water. Now, this was a huge spring and a very big turtle, but this was the only water anywhere around. And this turtle sat, and he was guardian. He kept back the water. And one day, as he sat guarding the water, this fox come by. And the fox asked the big-headed turtle, said, "Would you let me drink the water?" He said, "I'm so thirsty. So would you please let me drink the water?" And that big-headed turtle to him said, "No," said, "you can't have any water. I'm guardian of the water, so you can't have any water." So fox leaves. Well, a couple days later, this fox is back again. About this time, he's so thirsty that his tail is dragging. His tongue is hanging out, and he can barely speak above a whisper. But once again, he says, "Would you please let me drink the water?" I said, "Thank you so much. I'm so thirsty. But once again, that turtle said, no, you can't have any water. I'm guardian of the water. So the fox leaves and goes away. And this time as Fox is leaving, sitting underneath the bushes and briars is Brother Rabbit. And the rabbit says, Fox, come, so why don't we work together to get some water from that turtle? And Fox says, well, Rabbit, do you have any sort of plan? And the rabbit says, sure. So go get some clay. The fox leaves to get clay. And as he's getting the clay, Rabbit goes out to the field and he gathers up this plant we call rabbit tobacco. He makes it into a nice bundle for a gift. And they go back and they see this, and he tells that fox, first of all, you take that clay and make a smoking pipe. And the fox did. He made a pipe with the image of that turtle on it, shaped like that turtle. And that's the very first turtle pipe that was made. People still make turtle pipes to this day. Well, they go back and they see this big-headed turtle. And I said, Mr. Turtle, we have some gifts for you. Here's some tobacco and a pipe, smoke. Well, that turtle, he'd never smoked before. And he says, well, I'm going to take your gifts, but you're still not getting any water. And he said, but Mr. Turtle, said, this pipe is made in your image. This is good, said, but you're still not getting any water. So they leave the gifts and they go back to a distance to watching. Pretty soon as they're watching, this big-headed turtle picks this pipe up and he looks at it and he's thinking, well, that is a nice pipe and it's made in my image. And his head probably gets even bigger. He's filled with this ugly pride, you know. And he decides he's going to smoke. And he puts the tobacco in the pipe and he smokes. And as he smokes, he relaxes and drops his guard. And that's all, you know, Rabbit and Fox are waiting for. They run back around behind that big-headed turtle and they scratch and get underneath there to the water, and when they do, all this water comes flushing out, and that's where, and since that day the rivers flowed quite well. That's where all the water came from. Well, when that happens to that big-headed turtle, he wakes up, he's startled, he's been had, he knows he's no longer guardian of all the water, and he's ashamed of himself. And what happens when we walk up on a turtle? He's going inside that shell, isn't he? And that's what happens to us in life as humans, you know, when we don't want to help, you know, our friends, our neighbors, do what's right for the community or our families, we become withdrawn into ourselves, and the spirit within us begins to die. Creator gave us all a place and purpose in life, and so that's the story of Kayant and Scott Podcast. And we learn through that story how to work together.
Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video.